you didn't belong in your own skin? Who said that you were all alone and that you're never gonna find love again? So many little words, so many little lies that have followed you all of your life. Looking for the truth, look into your eyes, and you'll see it's been there the whole time. Ooh, either way you were running, either way you were hiding, never been a moment that you were not perfectly loved. When you barely believed it, when your eyes couldn't see it, every single moment you've always been perfectly loved. Ooh, perfectly loved. You've always been perfectly in the hands of the infinite. As the wounds of the world became his, see the kindness heaven has for you, and now he's always been drawing you in. So many open doors, so many miracles, so many that have followed you all of your life. Looking for the truth, look into your eyes, and you'll see it's been there the whole time. Ooh, either way you were running, either way you were hiding, never been a moment that you were not perfectly loved. When you barely believed it, when your eyes couldn't see it, every single moment you've always been perfectly loved. Ooh, perfectly loved. Ooh, you're not a problem. You're not a mistake. Don't need fixing or solving. In the arms of His grace, you're perfectly human, made from the dust. You got a heart broken and scarred, yet perfectly loved. Either way you were running, either way you were hiding, never been a moment that you were not perfectly loved. When you barely believed it, when your eyes couldn't see it, every single moment you've always been perfectly loved. Perfectly loved. You've always been perfectly loved. Perfectly loved. You'll always be perfectly loved.
Everybody, it's Bobby Flay, and I'm here with my friend Chef Brooke Williamson.
Hello.
And we tend to do some cooking competitions. Here. Wait. Today we're gonna go head to head to see who makes the best pet-friendly meals. Let's meet our very special judges.
This is my friend Ritz here. He is the founding member of the Clean Bowl Club.
And this.
All right. Thank you, Neil. So happy belated Thanksgiving, everyone. I wanted to start on a note of joy anyway, and that was perfect to have a little glitch there. So I hope everyone, Neil talked a little bit about Thanksgiving. Not everyone was on yet, but I'm hoping everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving and not a TV version Thanksgiving where things like an undercooked turkey and you're stuck with having to decide whether or not to eat this pink bird And, there's always something on TV where somebody brings up politics and then the whole shebang goes crazy and everybody's fighting and all this crazy stuff. And, there's undercooked things or somebody forgets something or that's the TV version of Thanksgiving. Well, I hope everyone had a lovely version and that their hearts open to each other and really open your hearts to gratitude and love. Well, we're in a time right now. It's kind of an in-between time where we just finished Thanksgiving and we're heading into Christmas. And a lot of people really have a hard time at this time of year. There's a lot of people who are very stressed about this time of year. They're worried about buying Christmas presents, worried about sickness. Some people just get sad this time of year. There's something about this time of year where people get depressed, they feel lonely. And so it's a time for us to just think about how we can be there for others and how we can be here for ourselves, and to remember that we are perfectly loved no matter what's going on. And there's a lot of craziness in the world right now. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of discord. And, the world has a tendency to create a sense of separation between people, between brothers and sisters. And we're all perfectly loved. We're all aspects of the divine in expression. And so today I'm going to use the words of the song as a backdrop and then talk about it from there. So the first verse is, "Who said that you weren't beautiful and that you didn't belong in your own skin? Who said that you were all alone and that you're never going to find love again?" There are people who feel all alone right now, in the world and during the holidays. But it says, who said that? Who said that you are not lovable, you're not worthy, you're not beautiful? We're in a world that is based on fear in many ways. And we know, as people from Unity, that this is a school. This is a place to learn. And we came here purposefully to learn who we really are and that we are perfectly loved. But we're bombarded by messages from the time we're born, practically, messages of we're not good enough, we're not perfect. And we're told that we're separate, that we're not connected to the divine. And yet the song goes on to say, so many little words, so many little lies that have followed you all of your life. But there's big lies too. There's big words. And some of us learned the big lie of original sin. And so from the very beginning, we believe that there's something unworthy about us. And we've been taught that we need an intercessor. We need someone between us and God. But these are all lies. They're all lies. And we came here, Dolores Cannon said, this school, this is a really hard place, and yet our souls chose this. Our souls chose this journey to learn and to grow and to find that we are perfectly loved and that we don't need anyone to connect with the divine, which is right inside of us. The song goes on to say, looking for the truth, look into your eyes, and you'll see it's been there the whole time. This spark of the divine is within us the whole time. It's right here. We cannot be separate. We cannot be separate from God, from divinity, from the spark of the divine. We only think we are. We're conditioned to believe in fear. We're conditioned to believe that we're not worthy, but it's not true. Little words, little lies. That's the truth. They're little words and little lies, and we accept them as big words and big lies. And so we're very blessed to have unity to help correct that mental chatter from the conditioning of our lives. And the greatest lie is that we're separate from source. The truth is, like I said, it's always been here, this connection, this truth of our being. And at some point in our journey, in this school that we came here, our souls came here to learn, at some point, we realize that it's the only thing that satisfies this connection with the divine, this connection with source. We come to a place in our lives where we know that what we want more than anything is to feel that presence of being perfectly loved. The song goes on to say, even when we're running, even when you're hiding, never been a moment that you were not perfectly loved. When you barely believed it, when your eyes couldn't see it, every single moment, you've always been perfectly loved. Perfectly loved. You've always been perfectly loved. So we run and hide from this oneness, afraid of losing who we think we are, because that's all a part of this journey, is to forget who we are and to come to this glorious remembrance that we're so much more than this human body, this human mind. We're a soul and a spark of the divine in expression. There's been times when we couldn't believe that God would love us, where we're caught up in losses or shoulds or have-tos, and we don't see God's love shining through necessarily. One definition of sin that I heard is that it's the denial of God. So when we run and hide, when we're afraid that we'll be lost inside of this oneness and we won't be able to function, or, some people think of Eckhart Tolle, and how he sat on this bench for a couple of years, I think it was, where he was just in bliss. And so if we've read that, our part of our consciousness goes, whoa, I can handle that. And that's rare. That's so rare to have that kind of experience. There's really this wonderful joy and peace and beauty inside when we let go and trust and have moments of that. So on Tuesday night of this past week, I was talking to my older daughter. We do our Thanksgiving. We don't do it on Thanksgiving Day. We do it either the day before or the day after Thanksgiving, which is fine with me. And so Tuesday night, I was talking to my oldest daughter, and I was told that we weren't going to have Thanksgiving the next day because my other daughter was still very sick and had been sick for a week. So my mama's heart gets all, in gyrations, and it's like, I got to do something. I got to do something for my daughter, because I knew that her husband, we were going to have Thanksgiving in the afternoon because her husband had to go pick up his mom from the hospital. She just had a knee operation, and he wasn't available to help her. Her daughter, my granddaughter, had an orthodontist appointment. So I'm like, I got to do something. I got to do something. And I'm thinking I've got to take her some natural remedies because none of these other things are working. And so when I went to bed Tuesday night, I said, okay, Spirit, if you wake me up by 7, before 7, I'm going. I'm going to my daughter's and I'm taking my granddaughter. So 2 minutes before 7, there I go, woke up. So I said, okay. And I got all ready and I got these natural remedies and I got ready and got in the car. It's a 2-hour drive. So I decided I wouldn't call her until halfway there. So up until that point, I'm really anxious. My human self is anxious and thinking, oh, what if she thinks I'm crazy? What if, she doesn't want me to take her daughter? What if she doesn't want any of these remedies? And, what if I'm not received? And there was a moment, because I'm driving on 66, and you know what 66 West is like. It's just this beautiful mountains. And, oh my God, it's just gorgeous once you get past certain, Manassas and that sort of thing. And all of a sudden, I was able to observe this anxiety. And I was able to see, this isn't me. This is my conditioning. This is my belief in unworthiness. This isn't who I am. And I was able to tame that down before I called my daughter. So of course I call my daughter, and of course she's like, oh, thanks, Mom. And I get there just in time because I'm afraid I'm going to be late. I get there just in time, pick up her granddaughter, get her to the orthodontist just in time. And it was this wonderful time to be alone with my granddaughter because I hardly ever get that. She's 12. And it was just beautiful. And on the way back to her house, I said to her, I talk to God all the time. And she said, I do too. And it just, I had no idea. It was just so beautiful and just such this precious opportunity to just be with her and share God with her. And then I get to my daughter's house. I didn't stay long, but I showed her how to use the steamer and put this stuff in the steamer and take a few supplements and, just got to love on my grandkids a little bit. And then I left and I ended up going to my other daughters that was going to have Thanksgiving, and I played games with my grandson. So it ended up being perfect, and we'll have it another day. So it's all good. The song says, in the hands of the infinite, as the wounds of the world become his, see the kindness heaven has for you and how he's always been drawing you in. Rumi states it's rigged, everything in your favor. So nothing's to worry about. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to worry about because it's all rigged in our favor. And it was a beautiful opportunity. And God's always trying to draw us in. And just that one precious little moment with my granddaughter, we got to be drawn in together. And it was just really beautiful. God wants to have a conscious relationship with us. In Acts 17:28, it states, for in him we live and move and have our being. We can't be separate. We're never separate. It's not possible. We just have come to believe it and live it that way. And yet, if we're blessed and lucky, we have moments of that beautiful, joyous connection. So many open doors, so many miracles that have followed you all of your life, looking for the truth, looking to your eyes, and you'll see it's been there the whole time. So one day, I think it was about a week ago, I just woke up grumpy, I was like, oh, my life, my circumstances of my life, it's just like, and I usually spend time with spirit every morning and get guidance if I'm not too foggy brained and just listen. And spirit's like, okay, you sit down and you get pen and paper and you write all the positive things about these circumstances. And it was a really long list. And I got to see some of the things that I tend to look at. Really, God had a different purpose and a different vision and a different way for me to see why things are the way they are sometimes. And it was just beautiful. So, that old saying, an attitude of gratitude. Well, I got my attitude of gratitude fixed thanks to spirit. Again, the refrain, even when you're running, even when you're hiding, never been a moment that you were not perfectly loved. When you barely believe it, when your eyes couldn't see it, every single moment, you've always been perfectly loved. So I'm going to take a quote from the Book of Innocence and share it. The idea of self as separate from source is what is being contended with here. And that is the only issue. And that is the aspect of the self that does not know he is loved or she is known or he is welcomed or she is worthy. There is an idea of self that believes that its survival must be predicated upon separation. This is not a death of the ego, and ego meaning personality structure. It is a reclamation of it in a higher tone. So we don't actually dissolve the ego, it's lifted higher. We still need it. Because we have said so often, this personality structure simply has its usage, but it is not who you truly are. It's not what you are. What you truly are and can never be how you truly serve. The denial of the divine is the only issue you contend with, and you will not face this by pretending you are worthy, but by allowing for the divine to reclaim any aspect of self that is operating in fear or choosing denial. And then Rumi states, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. So in a moment, I'm going to share a process. And first, what I'll do is I'll just tell you the steps so you can write them down if you want it for future reference, or you can come back to the video and write it down later. And then I'm going to take us through the process, and we'll also do a meditation afterwards. The process is called emotional healing. And I'm going to finish the song first, and then we'll talk about that. You're not a problem. You're not a mistake. You don't need fixing or solving in the arms of his grace. You're perfectly human. See how the daily word, we've got grace and perfectly human, just made from the dust. You're perfectly human, made from the dust. You've got a heart broken and scarred, yet perfectly loved. So we don't need fixing or solving. And yet at the same time, we have this broken and scarred heart. And sometimes we just gloss over it. It's been so long ago, we don't even think about it. It's in the unconscious, it's hidden away. And yet, that's the barrier, because underneath is who we really are. So, this isn't about fixing or solving, it's a process that's just beautiful of giving up the fear, the denial, the scarred heart to the Christ. And so, I'm going to share with you now the steps of this process. It's called emotional healing. So the first step is you're going to identify a painful emotion associated with a particular event. Then you're going to invite Christ to come. And you're going to ask Christ, say, I ask you to take these emotions from me. And then please heal the wounds in my soul. Thank you. I receive the healing. And something I do extra at the end is, because I feel like when we release something, there's a space there. There's an opening. And so I always at the end ask to be filled with God's love, because we don't want to leave, we don't want any space for that to come back in. Okay. So I'm going to take us through this. I'll pause after each step. And then we'll go straight into a meditation. So if everyone would just take a moment and think about a painful emotion, just close your eyes and think about a painful emotion. You don't have to look at the instructions, that's for later. I'm going to take us through this. So just think about a painful emotion associated with a particular event. It could be something way back, it could be something not too far away, or it could be something that you're concerned about in the future. And just feel that emotion inside you. Now invite Christ to come and stand before you. And inside, ask Christ, I ask you to take these emotions from me. Please take all of it. Please heal the wounds in my soul. Thank you. I receive the healing. So then what you do next is you just check to see if the emotions are still there. And everybody just keep your eyes closed. But if anyone still feels the emotion, just raise your hand and I'll take us through it again. Okay, so next, just ask Christ to fill you. Please fill me with God's love in all those places where those emotions used to live. So we are perfectly loved no matter what. We can pretend to be separate, or we can take charge of the barriers in our scarred hearts and give them over to Christ. And underneath, in the divine heart within, we'll find connection with our divine, with joy, and with so much more. So let's just take a deep breath as we enter into meditation. This will be a short one. Sweet Spirit, we're so grateful for your love, for your guidance. We're grateful for tools that we can use to release the barriers, the barriers of fear and denial and wounds in our hearts. We come to you knowing that you have a home within us, and that as we release those barriers, you become more available to us. And so we take a moment to be with you, sweet Spirit, underneath the wounds and the scars and the denial and the fear. And we go deep within our own hearts to meet you there in the silence. Thank you for placing yourself within us, sweet spirit, creator, source. Thank you that we always have a home to come to, where you reside, within our very own being. Thank you for all the lessons that have brought us closer to you through the realization that only you bring true satisfaction, true contentment. Thank you that we are perfectly loved by you, no matter what. And so it is. Amen.